Spider-Man Far From Home is the second of only 2 Marvel films scheduled to hit the big screen in 2019. So naturally, fans want to know how the web-swinger is after the events of Endgame and the loss of his mentor, Tony Stark. We take a look at cast interviews, behind-the-scenes shots, and even some of the merchandise to reveal what could be going on in this MCU film. In an interview with Jimmy Kimmel recently, the cast of Spider-Man Far From Home sat down to talk about the promotional materials for the movie, including that trailer which garnered 135 million views in just 1 hour.
Wow.
Despite being a millennial, though, it was revealed Tom Holland doesn't actually know how to use Instagram, which was required of him by the studio to launch the trailer. The young English actor revealed that he was supposed to release the Spider-Man trailer at 6 a.m. and not only forgot to do it, but had no idea how to post a video to Instagram. He had to FaceTime co-star Zendaya for help on how to do it. As Holland stated himself, he's basically an old man stuck in a young man's body when it comes to social media.
Clean your plates, and only a half hour of radio, and then it's off to bed.
Something that surprises not only Kimmel, but his younger co-stars as well. It's not that hard, Holland. Practice makes perfect. Thankfully, Peter is a bit more tech-savvy. As cool as it would be to personally own a Spider-Man suit to wear on the regular, you have to admit that it isn't the most practical of designs. This is especially true when it comes time to go to the washroom thanks to there being no buttons or zippers on that stretchy onesie. Tom Holland learned this the hard way when he played the web-slinger in the past, and this time he put his foot down, requesting there be a zipper on the suit for him in order to make it easier to go to the bathroom as opposed to removing the suit each time nature calls. His request was, of course, denied. What did change, though, was the helmet underneath the material, which cut and irritated Holland's face in Homecoming. This time around, the suit worked perfectly for Holland, and he was able to do his scenes without getting cuts and bruises on his face due to the material being softer without any jagged edges. Mysterio is one of the major players in this movie, and by some stroke of luck and raw talent, Marvel and Sony were able to make a comic book accurate villain costume and not have it look ridiculous.
Green Lantern's life!
Jake Gyllenhaal will be sporting the cape, the green, and the fishbowl, but he broke down some of the technical difficulties with the suit. There are a lot of lights and electrics in the suit to make it glow and light up, but thanks to the helmet and the larger chest area, Jake couldn't look down to see anything. So one day on set, the lights just turned into a disco ball, and Gyllenhaal had no idea, but the whole crew was looking at him like he was an alien. Aside from some malfunctioning lights, there are also some secrets in the suit that couldn't be shared. But we have to start wondering what Mysterio is hiding in that suit. The disco light malfunction could be used as a Far From Home music video. Contrary to comic book lore, it looks like Far From Home is going to alter expectations a bit when it comes to the character of Mysterio. The character is a beloved Spidey antagonist and is a regular member of the Sinister Six after being recruited by Doc Ock himself. His powers rely heavily on the art of deception, making him a fearsome antagonist for the web-slinger. Yet the marketing trailers have showed us that this Mysterio may actually be an ally to Spider-Man. What?
Say what?
While some fans may have their doubts about that, Jacob Batalon reiterated that this Mysterio is one of the good guys in the movie and is fighting side by side with Spider-Man against the Elementals. Is he being honest, or is this just a deception for the benefit of the audience? Guess we'll have to wait a little longer to find out. But seriously, he's gotta end up being bad. It's a classic superhero story we cannot wait to see on the big screen. While not a behind-the-scenes detail specifically, this piece of information does offer a bit of insight that we haven't seen in the trailers or posters up until this point. As per every big pop culture film or television show to come out these days, there will be a set of Funko Pop Toys releasing with the movie. As the new Spidey set gets released for collectors, 2 of them have us wondering what's to come in Far From Home. While there are certainly no major spoilers in them, we do have to wonder who that giant check is for that Funko Happy Hogan is holding and how that ties into the plot of the movie. Likewise, it looks like MJ gets an action scene of her own based on her Funko, as evident by her holding, of all things, a medieval mace. Considering the Elementals are likely immune to blunt force trauma, we have to wonder who MJ is fighting in Far From Home. Thoughts? At CCXP, which is the Brazilian Comic-Con, which takes place in Sao Paulo, Jacob Batalon talked about what kind of stuff fans can expect to see in Far From Home, including all of the action and stunts, the vacation aspect of the story, and how fun it was to travel around Europe.
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Most interestingly, the relationship stuff, as he called it, gave us a lot of details. Considering that Homecoming revealed that the quirky weird girl in Peter's grade was in fact nicknamed MJ as an allusion to Mary Jane Watson, we can likely expect some sort of awkward yet hysterical romantic subplot to be featured in this high school flavored superhero flick. The spoiler trailer makes it a point to tell us that MJ knows that Peter is Spider-Man, claiming it's obvious, so it looks like this movie is going to breeze past the whole protecting my secret identity thing. During an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, Tom Holland explained some of the action scenes featured on Far From Home, specifically a showdown between him and HydroMan, one of the elementals featured in the movie. Holland detailed the procedure involved in putting that stunt piece together on set. Using a ratchet, Holland was to be flung against a wall, while protected by the control granted by the machine. At the same time, a whole bunch of cold water was propelled at him to give the illusion that water was propelling him against the wall, simulating the attack from HydroMan. Holland was already not very psyched for this scene as it was cold water, filmed in October, and he was wearing a onesie. Unfortunately, when he was flung against the wall, the special effects guy was late in pressing the button to release the water, so not only did the water eventually hit Holland even though the shot was wasted, he had to dry off and do the shot again. Part of the fun of Spider-Man is Parker's love of creating new suits to experiment with and wear as he fights crime. If you played the Webslingers 2018 game on PS4, you'll know that half the fun was collecting the variety of classic suits from the movies and comics. Well, it looks like there'll be more suits to add to the Spider-Man collection thanks to these on-set photos. In a scene with Mary Jane, Spider-Man can be seen talking to her and even picking her up and swinging away on cables. The suit looks a bit similar to the one he wore throughout Homecoming, only the blues are now black. Is this a way for Parker to mourn the passing of Tony Stark, or does it hide a new power? It looks like this is early on in the movie as the duo are still in New York, so we're thinking there's a connection to the passing of Tony. Guess we'll have to wait and find out. You don't need to be a genius like Tony Stark to know that Tom Holland is incredibly fit. He may look small and skinny at first glance, but the 23-year-old English actor actually loves practicing gymnastics and is pretty strict about his workout regime, resulting in a body fit for a superhero.
Oh, it's a deep burn. Oh, it's so deep. Oh, I could barely lift my right arm because I did so many.
For Far From Home, though, he realized that time has passed since the first solo Spidey film in the MCU, and deduced that this Parker is a bit older and wiser compared to when we first saw him. So Holland upped his workout to ensure that he was just a little bit more in shape to reflect Parker's growing skills as a superhero. In hindsight, Holland actually regrets the move as he didn't like how he appeared being a bit bulkier, stating that he looked to be in better shape in Homecoming as a leaner web-slinger. We all know Tom Holland is a chronic blabbermouth. The young actor has spilled the beans too many times for Marvel, to the point where they simply don't trust the actor to keep his mouth shut anymore when it comes to major plot points in their movies. For Avengers Endgame, Holland's script consisted only of his lines and nothing else. Maybe that's why he was tasked with giving the spoiler warning at the beginning of the Far From Home trailer, which opens up with the information that Tony Stark is dead.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
But Holland wasn't even privy to this information during the Avengers shoot. When it came time for the funeral scene, Holland thought that they were filming a wedding scene and that he was very confused when Robert Downey Jr. wasn't on set and everyone was looking sad. It's very likely Holland doesn't really know what goes on in Far From Home either. Don't get too excited here. This isn't the MCU's version of Spider-Man Noir, who made an appearance in Into the Spider-Verse, or the famous black symbiote suit, which is automatically connected to the Venom symbiote. But there is going to be a new black suit in the Marvel Universe, and while we have seen this suit in the trailers already, Tom Holland gave fans a little bit of information on the so-called stealth suit. Holland is seemingly a fan of this suit, calling it the comfy suit, which sounds a lot better than when he was struggling to use the bathroom in a tight onesie. This new suit is a high-tech suit designed by Nick Fury himself and given to Parker to undertake a secret mission. Amazingly, Tom Holland actually kept this mission secret so far, so it must be very important to the plot. What he did share with the crowd at Brazil's CCXP is that all the Spidey suits are made in Brazil, much to the crowd's enjoyment. Jake Gyllenhaal is an acclaimed actor who seems to love character dramas at this point in his career, whether it's the Netflix thriller Velvet Buzzsaw, The Sister Brothers, and Nocturnal Animals.
You're such a ass.
That's why it's so great to see him join the MCU as a character we all initially thought was going to be a villain from the get-go. With that plot thread now shrouded in mystery and Gyllenhaal's role up in the air, we can't help but be excited to see the movie, especially with what the actor said to fans in Brazil during CCXP. Being such a talented and respected actor, Gyllenhaal brings a certain weight to his movies and only picks the best. That's why it's great to hear him say not only is what Marvel and Sony doing great script-wise, but also that his character is fresh and original. Sure, he's contractually obligated to say these things now, but Gyllenhaal didn't have to take the role, and if he said the script was as good as he said it was, and that's why he took the film because of its originality, we should take his word for it considering his reputation. While Spider-Man and Mysterio are out fighting the elementals for one Nicholas J. Fury in Europe, the Master of Spies himself may be undertaking his own mission in Europe in the shadows. Thanks to some spy cam footage taken on set in Europe, we now know that Fury and his most trusted associate Maria Hill are working together in some capacity without the direct help of Spider-Man. The world is threatened yet again so soon after the events of Endgame, and while the likes of Captain Marvel and Thor are apparently out of reach, the former head of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still more than ready to get down in the dirt to save the day. What could they be doing on their own? Could they simply be en route to meeting Spider-Man, or do they have their own plans that the web-slinger may not be privy to? As Stark said himself, Fury's secrets have secrets, and there's more going on here than meets the eye. Perhaps, while he has employed Mysterio for aid, something isn't fully adding up for him.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
As we all know by now, Jake Gyllenhaal is in the movie as Mysterio, one of the most beloved Spider-Man villains from the comics. The character is yet to be on the big screen before Far From Home, so fans are quite curious to see what this character does in the MCU that drew Jake to the role. Only Gyllenhaal got off to a rocky start playing the character, and it has nothing to do with the direction, story, or character. He was told to extend his arms on set to shoot the lasers out of his hand, as he called them, but thanks to his clunky suit, he was actually unable to extend his arms all the way, resulting in T-Rex hands for the first day on set. Gyllenhaal thought he botched the scene, but as it turns out, that scene will actually be fixed in post-production with the help of some CGI trickery. So when you see Mysterio doing that move, just remember those arms are likely not real. We know that Peter Parker decides to join his class and go to Europe for a much-needed vacation after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, but thanks to some behind-the-scenes pictures, we know a little bit more about some of the European locations and what might happen to them during the film. The New Yorkers will make their way to Venice, where it looks like plenty of destruction goes down at some point thanks to these set photos. Likely, those elementals really tore up the town. Likewise, it looks like Peter and the gang will go to some kind of fair while in Liberec in the Czech Republic, which can be seen briefly in the trailers as the location of an action set piece. Hopefully, Peter can have at least one normal night out with MJ and Ned while on this trip. Seriously, this high school Euro trip sounds amazing! One of the biggest surprises in Spider-Man Homecoming was the inclusion of the character of Ned Leeds. While a character from the comics, the character was significantly reworked from a Daily Bugle reporter and eventual hobgoblin to a fellow high school outcast and best friend of Peter Parker who not only enjoys building Lego Death Star sets, but quickly learns that Peter Parker is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, giving Parker a confidant to talk to about his masked heroism. In the MCU, Ned provided some of the best laughs in the movies, including the scene where he distracts kids on the bus in Infinity War. Jacob Batalon promises that we'll not only get more Ned in Far From Home, but also Ned will get to do more, telling us not to be shocked at what he can do. Perhaps Ned will get involved in the action in Europe and help his friend Peter save the day at some point. Big pieces of entertainment can't take any chances in the internet age when it comes to leaks and spoilers. Studios like Marvel, Lucasfilm, and even HBO took extreme measures to ensure that their stories don't make their way online before the movie or show gets released.
Extreme measures. Extreme measures. Extreme measures.
Whether it be using digital-only scripts that delete after completion, to scripts being kept under lock, guard, and key, to using red paper, which is impossible to photocopy. These properties are looking for new and creative ways to keep their secrets off the internet prematurely. When it came time for the script for Far From Home, Zendaya revealed that any major spoiler featured in the script was actually redacted like the Mueller report. So while memorizing their lines, the actors had no idea what was actually going on, even though they were in the movie. Jacob Bolton, who who plays Ned, took this literally and actually said the words "blacked out line" on set during his scenes, believing his lines would be added in post-production. Part of the reason for all the secrecy on set comes from Tom Holland himself, who is notorious for spilling the goods about his movie when doing press tours. With Far From Home releasing just around the corner on July 2nd, you can bet that Holland has let something slip. So spoiler warning ahead for the villains of Far From Home. During a live Q&A, Holland accidentally revealed to a live audience that the elementals featured in the movie were brought to Earth 616 after Thanos snapped his fingers in Infinity War, creating a portal to another dimension. So HydroMan and the other elementals are literally not of this world. Interestingly, Mysterio is also from a different dimension, as revealed officially from Marvel. After revealing the truth about the elementals, as you can imagine, Holland freaked out about his error, knowing that it would be live on the internet and social media within seconds of revealing the spoiler, and likely fearing the Marvel executives that will have a few choice words for him about keeping plot points to himself. Those are some of the biggest clues and secrets we found online pertaining to the plot and expectations of Spider-Man Far From Home. What are you most excited to see? Is Mysterio really a hero, or are the cast and studio hiding the truth from us? Does Tom Holland look too buff now? What is Fury up to in Europe with Maria Hill? Let us know your predictions in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in your playlist every day. Thanks for watching.